Hey everyone, welcome. On this channel, we're going to get into an advanced look at the story Disastrous Necromancer. Come with me as we unravel the journey of Lin Moyu, from his beginnings to him becoming a force to be reckoned with in a mysterious new world. If this story sounds like something you'll enjoy, please like, share, and comment. Your support helps us keep providing these in-depth looks into the world of Disastrous Necromancer. Now let's continue.
Lin Moyu was initially puzzled as to why the guardian beast collapsed on its own before he even made a move. Looking at the skeletal hell he had summoned and the still operating array in the sky, Lin Moyu suddenly understood why this happened. The four domain lords were also baffled, unable to comprehend the situation. With their vast knowledge, they couldn't make sense of it. Yi Qingshan, with a puzzled expression, asked, "Did any of you understand what happened?" Shui Binger shook her head, "I don't understand. It's too strange. Could there be a problem with the simulated spirit array?" Zhu Tian said in a low voice, "The simulated spirit array wouldn't malfunction. If it did, it wouldn't just happen here." Wu Da was equally confused. "This is truly bizarre. In all my years, I've never seen anything like this." Suddenly, a powerful aura surged, making the four domain lords feel a sudden pressure. Shu Laozu's gaze was fixed on Lin Moyu, his voice deep, "So that's how it is." The four domain lords knew Shu Laozu must have figured something out. Shui Binger couldn't help but ask, "Sir, did you see something?" Shu Laozu's voice carried a heavy authority, "You don't need to know." With that, their curiosity was stifled, and they knew better than to ask further. Shui Binger closed her mouth, and the four exchanged glances, realizing it was beyond their understanding and strength. Lin Moyu had figured out the reason. The guardian beast wasn't born out of thin air. It was a product of the array, which gathered a large amount of laws and energy to simulate its existence. In other words, without the support of the array, the guardian beast couldn't exist. When he used the skeletal hell, the guardian beast was essentially transported to another world, severing its connection with the array. Without the array's support and its source of power, the guardian beast collapsed without Lin Moyu needing to lift a finger. This revealed a flaw in the array. As long as another dimension was used to isolate it, any entity simulated by the array, no matter how strong, would collapse on its own. This is a significant issue. If not addressed, the array will have substantial limitations. The current array is far from perfect and has many problems that need fixing. It seems we are being used as test subjects to evaluate the array's combat capabilities. Lin Moyu not only understood why the guardian beast disappeared but also saw through the intentions of the higher-ups. Using the four-star domains competition to test the array was indeed a clever method. Now, one problem had been identified, and it wasn't a minor one. If this issue wasn't resolved, the array couldn't be used in real combat. There were too many ways to isolate space. As the skeletal hell dissipated, the array seemed to sense the guardian beast's destruction, and a beam of light descended from the sky, illuminating the stone tablet. A token fell from the light, and Lin Moyu caught it. With the token in hand, he could now leave the arena and advance to the next stage. However, he wasn't in a hurry to move on. He wanted to observe the array and the soul flames further, conducting more experiments to verify his hypotheses. Lin Moyu stayed put, waiting for the next enemy to appear. Meanwhile, the skeleton generals continued searching for stone tablets. Lin Moyu needed to battle more guardian beasts to further test his theories. His actions caught the attention of the domain lords. Compared to the sudden death of the guardian beast, they were even more puzzled by Lin Moyu's behavior. Wu Da asked, "He has the token, so why hasn't he left?" Yi Qingshan speculated, "Is he planning to sell his token again like before?" Shui Binger disagreed, "No, it doesn't look like that. It seems he's waiting for something." The three looked at Zhu Tian, who remained silent, revealing nothing. Shu Laozu's eyes sparkled with insight. This kid, could he have really discovered something? Meanwhile, Zhuang Bai and his group of 5 worked together to defeat their enemies. Shui Zilin's little red spirit successfully found 3 stone tablets. They chose the nearest stone tablet and rushed over as soon as the battle ended. During the fight, Shui Xing played a crucial role. Like Shui Zilin's shadow, she remained silent and almost invisible. If she didn't speak, even Zhuang Bai and the others might overlook her presence. However, in battle, Shui Xing displayed astonishing healing abilities. Her mastery of the spring water law allowed her to rejuvenate everything, providing powerful healing and defense. Any minor injuries they sustained were easily healed by Shui Xing, ensuring their combat readiness without needing rest. After the battle, they headed straight for the stone tablet. Upon reaching the stone tablet, they made some adjustments. Chu Shang patted Shui Xing's shoulder, "Brother Shui Xing, your healing skills are amazing. If we had someone like you on the battlefield back then, we would have been much safer." Shui Xing seemed uncomfortable with Chu Shang's touch, stepping back without saying a word. Chu Shang, puzzled, said, "Brother Shui Xing, don't be so shy. Why don't you speak?" Shui Zilin's clear voice chimed in, "Shui Xing is my junior sister. She doesn't like to talk much." Chu Shang's raised hand froze mid-air. Zhuang Bai couldn't help but laugh, and Qing Fei's face turned red, trying to suppress her laughter. Shui Xing was always shrouded in a layer of water mist, obscuring her figure and features. She spoke so rarely that her voice, altered by the water mist, made it hard to discern her gender. Chu Shang, feeling embarrassed, scratched his head. Sister Shui Xing, I'm really sorry. I'm a bit rough around the edges. Please don't mind." Shui Xing remained silent, standing behind Shui Zilin. After making some adjustments, Zhuang Bai activated the stone tablet. The array activated, and a massive energy descended from the sky, causing their faces to change. They realized the guardian beast was very strong and could summon other enemies, making it extremely difficult to deal with. Qing Fei gripped her sword tightly. "Let's stick to our plan. If the guardian beast summons enemies, I'll hold them off while you eliminate them as quickly as possible." They had discussed various scenarios and were prepared for most situations, minimizing the chances of unexpected events. A lion-tiger-like guardian beast formed in the air, exuding the aura of a peak minor god, accompanied by a powerful pressure that shook the heavens and earth. The battle was about to begin. On the other side, Lin Moyu closely observed the array. He saw the previously calm array suddenly accelerate its operation. The mysterious runes behind the array also began to tremble. With his soul power fully restored, Lin Moyu's soul eyes opened again, observing the changes in the runes. Understanding these runes required repeated observation. Although the process was challenging, Lin Moyu was undeterred. He had faced many challenges before and always persevered. Until his soul power was almost depleted, Lin Moyu's consciousness returned to reality. Through this observation, he gained some insights, not much, but better than nothing. Lin Moyu was well aware that some gains occur gradually and imperceptibly. What he needed was accumulation, not haste. He had already realized that when others activated the stone tablets, he could also observe the changes in the runes. He was no longer in a hurry to leave. Compared to the soul runes, advancing to the next stage was not urgent. Soon, the array began operating again. Dongfang Zi activated a stone tablet, summoning a guardian beast. Lin Moyu continued observing the changes in the runes. With each observation, he gained new insights, and a vague understanding began to form in his heart. However, this understanding was still elusive and needed more accumulation to potentially bear fruit. After Dongfang Zi, Wei Bowen also found a stone tablet and summoned a guardian beast. Qing Fei and her group were embroiled in a bitter battle. The guardian beast's strength exceeded everyone's expectations. At the peak of the minor god level, with a defense comparable to a god, they struggled to defeat it. Water Zilin's offensive power was not outstanding, and even her 3 minor god level puppets could not inflict enough damage on the guardian beast. As for Shui Xing, she was even more skilled in defense than Water Zilin, with her offensive power being among the weakest at the minor god level. The only ones capable of inflicting sufficient damage on the guardian beast were Qing Fei, Zhuang Bai, and Chu Shang, with Qing Fei being the main force. Qing Fei transformed into an azure dragon, engaging in a fierce battle with the guardian beast. Zhuang Bai fully supported Qing Fei, and after several major battles, their coordination had become quite seamless. Chu Shang fought alone, wielding a battle blade larger than anyone else's, drawing the guardian beast's attention. The battle lasted a long time, and finally, the guardian beast let out a roar, summoning reinforcements. Water Zilin and Shui Xing were already prepared, intercepting the reinforcements halfway. The reinforcements, like the regularly appearing enemies, came in numbers based on the number of people, a total of 500. The enemies formed battle formations, and Water Zilin and Shui Xing struggled to fight them off. Qing Fei shouted, "You two go help Zilin, I'll hold them off here." Chu Shang went to help Water Zilin without hesitation, but Zhuang Bai did not move. Qing Fei asked, "Why aren't you going?" Zhuang Bai had his reasons. The guardian beast's recovery speed is fast, and you alone won't be enough. Chu Shang has already gone to help Zilin, so don't worry. Qing Fei naturally knew this as well. All right, let's quickly kill the guardian beast. The guardian beast was the root of all problems. Once they dealt with it, the battle would end. They needed to hurry. If they dragged on, the next wave of enemies would arrive when the time came, making the difficulty even greater. They were also worried about one thing. They had no idea how many times the guardian beast could summon reinforcements. If it could summon reinforcements repeatedly, and those reinforcements might overlap with the regularly timed enemies, then there was no point in fighting. It would be better to give up. On the other side, Dongfang Zi was also embroiled in a bitter battle. Dongfangzi didn't expect the guardian beast to be so strong, especially when the reinforcements appeared, making him more passive. Fortunately, he had 2 others from Divine City who could fend off the reinforcements for him. Otherwise, he would have given up long ago. Similarly, Wei Bowen's situation was not much better, facing immense pressure. The challenge in the first layer was something they had never experienced before. Even with their full efforts, they risked being eliminated. Lin Moyu waited patiently for the second wave of enemies to arrive. After 59 minutes, the second wave finally arrived. This time, Lin Moyu didn't let the skeleton generals act. He pointed at the incoming enemies. The skeletal hell instantly unfolded, enveloping half of the enemies. The enemies engulfed by the skeletal hell instantly turned to dust and disappeared without a trace. Their way of dying was the same as the guardian beasts, their bodies collapsing and disintegrating into powder before completely dispersing, leaving no trace. This was because they were originally composed of pure energy, without any real substance, so naturally, they wouldn't leave anything behind. The remaining enemies were still intact. Without wisdom, they could only follow the will given by the array, charging towards Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu pointed again, and the skeletal hell shifted to another location, enveloping them. After being engulfed by the skeletal hell, they remained motionless for half a second before collapsing. The 2 instances were identical. Lin Moyu was now completely certain that it was because the skeletal hell isolated the space, severing their connection with the array, leading to their collapse. He had found a flaw in the array. Based on the current situation, the array was far from perfect and had many issues that needed to be addressed. It seemed they were being used as test subjects to evaluate the array's combat capabilities. As the skeletal hell dissipated, the array seemed to sense the guardian beast's destruction and sent down a beam of light, illuminating the stone tablet. A token fell from the light, and Lin Moyu caught it. With the token in hand, he could now leave the arena and advance to the next stage. However, he was in no hurry to move on. He wanted to continue observing the array and the soul flames, conducting more experiments to verify his hypotheses. Lin Moyu stayed put, waiting for the next enemy to appear. Meanwhile, the skeleton generals continued searching for stone tablets. Lin Moyu needed to battle more guardian beasts to further test his theories. His actions caught the attention of the domain lords. Compared to the sudden death of the guardian beast, they were even more puzzled by Lin Moyu's behavior. Wu Da asked, he has the token, so why hasn't he left? Yi Qingshan speculated, is he planning to sell his token again like before? Shui Binger disagreed, no, it doesn't look like that. It seems he's waiting for something. The 3 looked at Zhu Tian, who remained silent, revealing nothing. Xu Laozu's eyes sparkled with insight, this kid, could he have really discovered something? Meanwhile, Zhuang Bai and his group of 5 worked together to defeat their enemies. Shui Zilan's little red spirit successfully found 3 stone tablets. They chose the nearest stone tablet and rushed over as soon as the battle ended. During the fight, Shui Xing played a crucial role. Like Shui Zilan's shadow, she remained silent and almost invisible. If she didn't speak, even Zhuang Bai and the others might overlook her presence. However, in battle, Shui Xing displayed astonishing healing abilities. Her mastery of the spring water law allowed her to rejuvenate everything, providing powerful healing and defense. Any minor injuries they sustained were easily healed by Shui Xing, ensuring their combat readiness without needing rest. After the battle, they headed straight for the stone tablet. Upon reaching the stone tablet, they made some adjustments. Chu Shang patted Shui Xing's shoulder, brother Shui Xing, your healing skills are amazing. If we had someone like you on the battlefield back then, we would have been much safer. Shui Xing seemed uncomfortable with Chu Shang's touch, stepping back without saying a word. Chu Shang, puzzled, said, brother Shui Xing, don't be so shy. Why don't you speak? Shui Zilan's clear voice chimed in, Shui Xing is my junior sister. She doesn't like to talk much. Chu Shang's raised hand froze mid-air. Zhuang Bai couldn't help but laugh, and Qing Fei's face turned red, trying to suppress her laughter. Shui Xing was always shrouded in a layer of water mist, obscuring her figure and features. She spoke so rarely that her voice, altered by the water mist, made it hard to discern her gender. Chu Shang, feeling embarrassed, scratched his head, Sister Shui Xing, I'm really sorry. I'm a bit rough around the edges. Please don't mind. Shui Xing remained silent, standing behind Shui Zilan. After making some adjustments, Zhuang Bai activated the stone tablet. The array activated, and a massive energy descended from the sky, causing their faces to change. They realized the guardian beast was very strong and could summon other enemies, making it extremely difficult to deal with. Qing Fei gripped her sword tightly, let's stick to our plan. If the guardian beast summons enemies, I'll hold them off while you eliminate them as quickly as possible. They had discussed various scenarios and were prepared for most situations, minimizing the chances of unexpected events. A lion-tiger-like guardian beast formed in the air, exuding the aura of a peak minor god, accompanied by a powerful pressure that shook the heavens and earth. The battle was about to begin. On the other side, Lin Moyu closely observed the array. He saw the previously calm array suddenly accelerate its operation. The mysterious runes behind the array also began to tremble. With his soul power fully restored, Lin Moyu's soul eyes opened again, observing the changes in the runes. While Lin Moyu tirelessly teased the stone steel and the guardian beast, several other groups were engaged in fierce battles. Lin Qingfei and Zhuang Bai tried their best to surround and kill the guardian beast, but their progress was very slow. Shui Jilan and Chu Shang, along with Shui Xing, were dealing with the incoming reinforcements. The battle had been going on for a long time, during which another fixed group of enemies appeared, also intercepted by the trio. The fighting was intense on all sides, with no respite. Though the process was arduous, at least they still held the upper hand. The situation for Dongfang Zi and Wei Bowen was no better, even more strenuous than Qingfei and the others. Relying on their formidable strength, the two barely managed to hold an advantage against the guardian beast. The two from the White Tiger Star domain had already basically given up. They found a stone steel, activated it, and then discovered they were no match for the guardian beast. They knew they should have been eliminated in the second layer. Even though they bought tokens from Lin Moyu to barely reach the first layer, they were still destined to be eliminated due to their lack of strength. Ultimately, it was due to insufficient strength. Even using opportunistic methods to reach the first layer was futile. Except for Lin Moyu, all parties fought extremely hard to advance to the first layer. The four domain masters kept rolling their eyes. Bai Binger looked at her side being on the verge of elimination and then at Lin Moyu repeatedly teasing the stone steel and the guardian beast, almost grinding her teeth. What is this kid doing? Yi Qingshan shook his head. I can't understand, can't understand. Wu Da imitated Yi Qingshan, can't understand, can't understand. The three of them simultaneously focused on Zhu Tian, who shook his head and said, don't look at me, I don't know what he's doing either. Maybe he finds it fun. Finds it fun. Isn't this explanation too far-fetched? Among the five, only Elder Shu understood what Lin Moyu was doing. At this moment, his face remained calm, but inside he was incredibly shocked, mixed with a bit of amusement. This was a very peculiar emotion. Elder Shu couldn't remember the last time he felt this way. He really understands. This guy is a genius to be able to understand. Obviously, he wanted to use them to experiment with the imitation spirit formation, but he turned it around and used the imitation spirit formation as a test subject. For a moment, Elder Shu didn't know how to describe Lin Moyu, finally summing it up with two words, weirdo. In the first layer arena, another batch of enemies appeared. This batch of enemies came 50 minutes after the last one. This was the 10th batch, with each batch appearing 1 minute sooner than the previous one. Calculating this, a total of 60 batches of enemies would appear in the first layer arena. The further it went, the shorter the intervals, and the higher the difficulty. Qingfei and the others had already begun fighting the second guardian beast. They had 5 people and needed to kill 5 guardian beasts to obtain 5 tokens. This was their agreement. Either they all won together, or they all lost together. No one would advance alone. While attacking the guardian beast, Qingfei said, we don't have much time. I've calculated that with our strength, if the enemies reach the last 20 batches, we'll only be able to cope with difficulty. Zhuang Bai said in a deep voice, that's about what I calculated too. We still have a chance. In the worst case scenario, we can get 4 tokens. I'll stay behind, and you go to the next stage. Qingfei was stunned for half a second, looking at Zhuang Bai. Zhuang Bai smiled, showing his white teeth, looking very handsome. Qingfei withdrew her gaze, saying nothing, but her attacks became even fiercer. At this moment, they suddenly received a message. Contestant number 3 has advanced. Chu Shang shouted, Dongfang Zi advanced. Shui Jilan, who was right beside him, frowned and said, lower your voice, my ears hurt. A minor deity saying her ears hurt was hard to believe. However, Chu Shang instinctively replied, all right, I'll be quieter. Shuzalin's crisp voice came through, Dongfang Zi and the others have 3 people, now only Dongfang Zi advanced, he might have abandoned the other 2. Previously, Shui Jilan used a small red sprite to find the stone steel and also scouted the movements of the others. Chu Shang snorted disdainfully, abandoning teammates, what a jerk. Shui Jilan rebutted, it might not necessarily be abandoning teammates, maybe it was a mutual decision. But that's their internal matter, we don't need to interfere. Chu Shang agreed, Shui Jilan is right, we just need to take care of ourselves. Chushong, with his thick-skinned personality, basically agreed with whatever Shuijilan said. However, Shuijilan was indeed right. Dongfang Zi had discussed it with the others. The three of them came from Shencheng, with Dongfang Zi being the strongest, but the other two did not necessarily follow his lead. They naturally formed a group since they came from the same place. The three were in a cooperative relationship. Clearly, the three of them were running out of time, so Dongfang Zi made a suggestion. Requesting flowers. He promised to give each of them 50 Shencheng merits, allowing him to use the token to advance. In this way, the two had actually given up the competition. They thought it through, realizing there wasn't enough time, and they could at most get one more token. Dongfang Zi would definitely take one slot, so who would get the other? The two were not much different in strength, so there was unlikely to be a clear winner. Faced with the temptation of 50 Shencheng merits, they chose to accept. Chengfei and the others continued to hunt the guardian beasts, becoming more coordinated and efficient. With Shui Xing's healing arts as support, their sustained combat ability was very strong, without diminishing their fighting power. When the 30th batch of fixed enemies appeared, they had just finished killing the 4th guardian beast, only one token short of the required 5. At this moment, the Renlong network sent another reminder. Contestant number 6 has advanced. The group paused for a moment, and Zhuang Bai said, Wei Bowen also advanced. A red light flashed in the air, and the small red sprite returned with the latest information. Shuijilan said, Wei Bowen abandoned the other one and advanced directly. Bai Xiao and Hu Tian from the White Tiger Star domain have given up. Chushong asked, what about junior brother Lin? They hadn't heard from Lin Moyu for a long time, and Lin Moyu hadn't advanced yet, which made Chushong a bit worried, fearing something unexpected had happened. Actually, everyone knew that with Lin Moyu's strength, there was almost no chance of an accident. Shuijilan shook her head, junior brother Lin should be fine, but the little red sprite is afraid of his skeletons and didn't dare get close. However, the little red sprite said junior brother Lin seemed to be in the same place for a long time without moving. Chushong scratched his head, not knowing what Lin Moyu was doing. Zhuang Bai said, maybe junior brother Lin has something of his own to do. Let's find the last token first. Don't worry about junior brother Lin, he won't have any problems. Shuijilan nodded, follow me. They had already located the last stone stele and rushed over immediately. This stone stele was quite far, and by the time they arrived, the 33rd batch of enemies had appeared. At this point, the interval between each batch of enemies had shortened to 26 minutes, with increasing frequency. Given their speed in killing the guardian beasts, they had to face over 6 batches of fixed enemies, plus the reinforcements summoned by the guardian beasts. The pressure was immense. Chengfei took a deep breath, let's start. Zhuang Bai nodded and activated the stone stele, beginning the battle.